Hello everybody, MDpolo here at Range USA in Carmel, Indiana. And today we're shooting the HK USP-9 compact. It's got night sights. I bought it used over at Indiana Gun Club and it was a fantastic price. I couldn't say no. So thank you to them for treating me the way they do. They're very nice. So I have this also in the tactical, but I wanted the regular as well. Found a great one. So first shots through this. We are shooting 124 grain blazer and we are about 10 yards out. And let's see how it goes. This, by the way, is the LEM trigger system. I also wanted to try that in LEM. Whoa. I like the way it shoots. I'm not shooting well today. Locks open. Gun is safe. I'm alone at the range, by the way. Let me turn you around so we can see it. So not my best shooting for sure, but good enough. First shots through that. I just finished filming a video with my new Beretta 92XI Squalo, and it wasn't my best shooting on that video as well. So maybe it's just not the day today, but I show you what I do. So there it is, USP 9 and the Squalo. Not a bad range morning. Today we're going to be taking a look at the HK USP-9. And this is a mighty and awesome pistol and one of my all-time favorites. For sure, in my opinion, is a pistol that deserves a spot in everybody's collection. Now in the past I've done several videos on HKs. I've done a few on USP, but never on the USP-9. Of course, chambered in 9mm. And this one in particular, it's set up exactly like I wanted it. It's got factory night sights, it's got the LEM trigger, of course 9mm full-size gun, and it also has the jet funnel and the jet funnel mag. So one of the things that I debated was whether to make this a quick-ish, as quick as I can for me, quick-ish video on the USP-9, or whether to spend a little bit more time and dive more into the history of the USP, what makes it special, all the different variants you can get for these pistols. And that's what I decided to do. So it's going to be a longer video, so be prepared for that. And if you're interested, down in the description, I'm going to set the timestamp so you can jump around different chapters and go to the areas where you want to go. The one thing I ask, if you can, is to play the video in its entirety, even if you have to go somewhere else or you're going to cook breakfast, or just let it play in the background, because it really does help. It plays well with the algorithm versus just watching 4 minutes and turning it off, which is what YouTube tells me that most people hang around for 4 or 5 minutes. And talking about YouTube, YouTube also tells me that about 90% of my viewers are not subscribed to the channel. So if you like what I do here and the content that I bring you, I tend to bring you a lot of firearms, some of them very expensive firearms. And I don't get sponsored by anybody. Kimber sent me 2 handguns, but that's it. And I don't get sponsored really by any firearms company. So everything comes out of my pocket. And I'm happy to do so. But I would appreciate, if you like what I do, that you take a couple seconds and subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell, because it really does help. So that out of the way, we're going to take a look at the fantastic and awesome HK USP-9. So hang tight and let's go to the tabletop. All right, we're back from the range with the HK USP-9. Obviously chambered in 9mm. This is the V7, which is, you can see there's no safety decock or anything like that. The V7 is the LEM trigger. the law enforcement modification trigger, which is my favorite variant in the HK ecosystem. And the universal self-loading pistol, thus USP, was originally introduced by by H&K in 1993. And of course, it was made in Germany. It was made specifically for the US market and originally was chambered in 40 Smith & Wesson. I guess that's why I got a little confused a little bit ago. And but not too long after its release, it was right away adopted by law enforcement and military units around the world, mainly because it was so unbelievably tested by H&K prior to its release, and it was specifically made for military and law enforcement. So that was in 1993, and later on, 1994 and 1995, it was when the 9mm version, which is the one I have here, was originally introduced. And later on, that LEM trigger modification, which is here, is the one that was introduced in the year 2000. It's, of course, a hammer-fired LEM trigger, and I believe that HK has 13 different variants. And you can see here the LEM trigger. Now, there's a lot of videos out there that explain the LEM trigger much better than I could, so I would reference you to those. But this is my favorite by far. It took me a while to get used to it. I almost gave up on it, but I stuck with it, and now, like I said, it's my favorite. This is probably the last HK that I would ever get rid of. Absolutely love this. It's got, you can get it both in full size like you see here, or in a compact version. The barrel in this is 4 1/4 inches. It's cold hammer forged cannon grade steel with a polygonal, I can never say that word, barrel. And it is just a joy to shoot. It is kind of light for its size. You're probably going to say, well, it's not going to be very light if it's around the 31, almost touching on 32 ounces, including the jet funnel that you see here and the mag. The jet funnel adds another 6.2 ounces to the overall weight of the USP. The capacity is 15 rounds, 15 plus 1 of 9mm. It originally comes with 3 polymer mags with steel in them. Now this with a jet funnel, it increases your capacity to 18 plus 1. So that's very cool. So once you install the jet funnel, which is here, it's basically a magwell that is made by HK, and so it's very nice. This, I bought it used from a friend, and it was kind of banged up, so I took it to ZR Tactical Solutions, and they completely refinished it for me, and he did an absolutely fantastic job. It looks brand new. But once you install the jet funnel, you have to buy the jet funnel mag, and so it fits right away. So I needed to go out and find the jet funnel mag, and where I found it at a really good price was, let me show you what it comes with. It is called Rooftop Defense, and those guys were super funny because not only, and they don't know who I am, they don't know I'm doing this, but in the box they include a copy of the Constitution, which I thought was really cool, and this is what really cracked me up. They included in the box a bag of ramen, and it says, the note says, "We know that this addiction is expensive, so enjoy a free meal on us, Soul." I thought that was hilarious that they include a bag of ramen with your purchase. So anyway, that's where I got the jet funnel, and I love the way not only that it looks, but the way it feels when you shoot it. It gives you a little bit more space on the grip with your hands, and now you got 3 extra rounds, or it really helps with the balance of the gun. So I really like it. So if you're going to the compact, USP compact, your capacity is going to be 13 plus 1. And if you go to the other calibers, which this USP is available, and that would be in 40 Smith & Wesson and 45, you go to 13+1 rounds in the 40 Smith & Wesson and 12+1 rounds in the 45 ACP. As I mentioned earlier, it's hitting almost 32 ounces. And though it's kind of a wide gun with 1.26 inches in width. Now, how many jelly beans you're going to have to shell out for one of these, it depends on where you are, your location. But new, right now, they're hitting around, in 2025, they're hitting around 1350 jelly beans, and used somewhere between 800 and 1100, at least locally. That's going to vary based on what it comes with, condition, and your location, as always. The slide, moving to the slide, of course, is nitrocarburized steel, and it has HK's hostile environment coating, and it's in a beautiful matte black. It's got a nice external extractor, which also doubles as loaded chamber indicator. The sights, this one came from the factory with night sights. And these are, I believe, True Dot night sights. So that was a very nice addition, that it came with factory night sights instead of the regular 3-dot, which they usually come with. The frame, of course, is polymer, and it is a fiber reinforced polymer with stainless steel inserts. So there's certain areas of the grip of the frame where it's more subject to friction and stress, and it's got metal inserts to help with reduce the flex of the frame, I would guess. It's got the HK accessory rail, and this is something that HP is still getting away with, because I believe they were the first ones that introduced an accessory rail in a handgun, and they have yet to move, at least with the USP series, into the 1913 rail or just a regular accessory rail. You of course can pick up some accessories to mount here that you would put your light on, or laser, whatever you want to put on top of this. There you go. We talked, the texture is really nice. I love the texture in this thing and how they went all the way to the top. I like how they did that. And the texture in the back strap and in the front is very aggressive all the way around. So I don't see any need for tape or to stipple or modify this, at least for me. I think they nailed it and hit just a home run for that. The controls, you got this surfboard size slide stop that is here. Like I said earlier, you don't have any slide stop, safety, decocker, anything like this because of the LEM trigger. The only thing you do have is the paddle release for your mag release, and this is very, very tiny. So that's one of the things that I may want to change in the future, because you can very easily, just by popping that pin there, you can install the larger ones that are available for the P30s. I believe that's the one that fits. So that's the only thing. But I love paddle releases. I just hit it with my index finger from my right hand, and it works just perfectly fine. Excuse me for sniffling, I'm just not feeling very well. The jet funnel we already talked about. With a 18 round mag, you're talking about 100 jelly beans for that, more or less, depending on where you buy it and if it's new or used. But you can plan on around 100 for that. And of course, when I'm filming is when the UPS man comes and rings the doorbell and I'm by myself at home. So sorry about that. So I believe we're talking about the controls and how this control here, the slide stop, it is the size of a surfboard, but it's very usable. It's in the perfect spot for me. It's got some serrations in the front. It's got texture on top, and it is only one-sided. You're not going to have an ambi gun here except for the mag release. So talking about the trigger, moving down to the trigger, like I mentioned to you before, this is the law enforcement modification, the LEM trigger. And other people can explain it a lot better than I can. But in essence, it's a pre-cocked, double-action only system, and it really delivers a very smooth and consistent trigger pull with a short reset. Now, it's not as short as you would see like on a Sig Sauer or on a P226, because that is just absolutely ridiculous. If you see here with the Navy, And you can even get it much shorter if you go with a Gray Guns trigger. Also, you can either go to Langdon or Gray Guns, I believe, and get a short reset trigger for the USP. But the way it is right now, I really, really like it. It really combines the safety of the double action with a light feel of a single action trigger. So I really like the LEM trigger, and like I mentioned at the beginning, it really took a while for me to get used to it, but once I did, I fell in love with it. And the double action is got, the standard pull is 7.5 pounds on this particular handgun, and once it's on LEM, it's at 4 pounds right on the nose, and that was consistent on a 5 pull average. So you can also go with what's called a light LEM, and that's going to bring down the double action pull at 6 pounds and the single action at 3.8 pounds. Holster wise, you can find them from Vetter, which is one of my favorite holster makers, as well as Safariland, Blackhawk, Alien Gear, and Tulster make holsters for the USP, so that's your choice. And I'm sure there's a lot of others that I didn't get a hold of. So what do I like? What are my likes on this? Well, not only the history behind it, how it was tested, who's carried it. I'm not very much into a movie thing because it's just pretend anyway. It's like somebody carried it in a movie. Oh wow, a lot of people put weight on that, but that's my choice and your choice. That's fine either way. I like how reliable it is. It's basically a bomb-proof gun. I like how many different trigger groups, variants they give you, so you can really configure the gun to what you want, and it's not too difficult to convert. So it's something that you can, of course, preferably use a gunsmith, but you can actually get into it yourself if you're somewhat handy with the internals of a firearm. I like how low recoil it has, especially in 9mm. It's got the captured buffer spring in there, and it really handles recoil really, really well. Built like a tank, cannon grade steel for the barrel, hostile environment coating on the finish. It's just no expense spared in building this thing. And I don't think there's another firearm, perhaps other than the 226, that has been so battle tested and proven. It's very accurate. Their controls are very accessible to me with medium-sized hands. It is a big grip. It's a little smaller than in 45, obviously, from the USP 45, but it's something that is very, very comfortable for me. What don't I like? Nobody gets a free pass here, so well, one of the things is they're very expensive. Anything HK, from the jet funnel to the jet funnel mag, everything is very expensive when you're talking about HK, but it is what it is, and you know about it going into it. Personally, I believe that it's worth it. I talked about the mag release. Even though I love the paddle mag release, they're so small in the USP that it needs to be changed, at least for me. Actuated with my finger on my right hand, and it works just fine. It's a little bit of a pain in the butt that the rail is still, even in 2025, it's only for USP for HK proprietary things. So any other light accessories is not going to fit without an attachment to make it doable. What else didn't I like? I think that's about it, really. The only thing I would do to this is put one of the light LEM triggers or the Gray Guns short reset kit in this, but other than that, I'm very comfortable and happy keeping it exactly the way it is. So final thoughts, this is truly a tactical tank. I thought that was a great way to describe it. The USP-9 is a pistol that really prioritized, when they were designing it, prioritized durability, precision, and engineering over just flashy finish. I have 5 of these in my collection, and I believe that USP really deserves a place in anybody's. If you're a gun collector or a real serious gun guy, I'm sure you have a USP of some kind, or a Mark 23 or something in your collection. So let me know what your thoughts are on the HK USP, any variant, any caliber, whatever your flavor is. Let me know what your thoughts are on this. And here we have probably 2 of the most battle-tested firearms the Mark 23 and the USP 9. So let me know if you'd like to see a video. Tell me in the comment section if you'd like to see a video of these two going head to head. It would actually make it a fun video. So thank you so much for stopping by. Forgive me for the interruption with the UPS guy. And please remember that I upload videos every Friday morning, and when I can on Wednesday mornings as well. My videos should be uploading automatically to Rumble, and I'm posting on Instagram and on X, formerly known as Twitter. So once again, thank you so much for stopping by, and until the next time, God bless.